And what I will be presenting today is actually something that I presented back in February when I was invited to give a talk about this also, about socioeconomic disparity and trade integration, specifically in the ASEAN region. So the occasion was the first model ASEAN meeting in the Ateneo de Manila University. And I built on that. I had to update the data, of course. Since we're also talking about South Korea's new Southern policy, I also had to incorporate this in this presentation. Okay. Anyway, so as an introduction, ASEAN leaders have agreed to develop a RIA, which stands for a Roadmap for Integration of ASEAN, which puts the objective of regional integration at the center of ASEAN cooperation and provides a framework for more coherent implementation of the regional integration program. Next slide, please. So envisioned here in this RIA is a stable, prosperous, and highly competitive ASEAN economic region where there is a free flow of goods, services, and investments, which in turn could probably promote equitable economic development in the region. So this means that there could well be reduced poverty and socioeconomic disparities because of this free flow of resources. So in an effort to demonstrate its strong commitment to prosper together with ASEAN, South Korea has also embarked on its new Southern policy, which essentially aims to strengthen collaboration in mutually beneficial areas of interest, such as trade and economic links, connectivity and smart cities, and also in the area of defense, which was discussed thoroughly. So, in light of these policy directions, it would be perhaps sensible to take stock of data, okay, that describe trade integration and social-economic disparities in order to get a grasp or a sense of how much work remains to be done. Because they envision an integrated ASEAN economy. Of course, South Korea also would like to be part of it. But we have to take stock of whether trade integration is actually taking place and how much disparity are we going to have to deal with. So my presentation will essentially have two main parts. First, as I mentioned, this is going to be really more descriptive presentation, so we'll have to review data. So we're going to go through macroeconomic data, and then development data, and then trade integration data. Okay? And then after that, let's try to make sense of the data. So there could also be some points of reflection for us. So the way it's going to be organized, there are three main questions that we need to ask ourselves. Where are we now? Where do we want to go? And how do we get there? So I hope to be able to answer all of these things. So macroeconomic data. As we can see here, okay, if we look at land area, population size, and size of economic activity. Now, let me begin first with land area. Okay, if we take a look at some-selected economies, I'm looking here at the largest economies in the world, the G7, okay? And if we include ASEAN and Korea there, okay, in terms of land area, we would actually be about half the size of either Canada, US, or China. These are very large countries in terms of land area. And then Korea is somewhere down there. Okay, and in terms of population size, if we take a look, just for our appreciation, okay, ASEAN would come close to China. Okay? So China, ASEAN, and the US. And then Korea would be somewhere down there, no? Together with Italy and Canada. Now, as for the size of the economy, and this is what I told the students when I was given a chance to talk there in that Model ASEAN meeting, there's actually $1 trillion economy right at their doorstep. So about $2.9 trillion. So it's quite a big economy, one that could match up with Germany, Japan. Okay, China is, of course, our neighbor. It's also very big. And of course, we have the US, but right at our doorstep. And of course, Korea also, no? It's 1.4 trillion. It would also make sense because of its proximity to this large economy, okay, that it would really want to do business with us, and that would be, of course, beneficial because if you look at the data, right at its doorstep, okay, there's a huge market. Okay, and it used to be China that dominated the trade with South Korea, but they're looking to diversify its market. Next slide, please. Now, in terms of standard of living, if we look at GDP per capita, okay, well, that's the thing. We aren't really that, because of, again, huge disparities in income. Okay, if we sum up income and population, okay, and divide income by population, that's what we see here. ASEAN isn't really that big in terms of per capita income. Korea would have about 6 times ours if you are someone who lives in ASEAN. And of course, the US is up there together with Canada and Japan. So those are in levels. So what about growth rates? Okay, so this is what we could see in growth rates. ASEAN real GDP growth rate, we're actually growing faster than Korea is. So that's why it should get their attention because we're actually growing faster. Even if our standard of living is lower compared to Korea's. Okay? We are actually growing faster in terms of size. The next slide. And this could also indicate something about demographics in Korea, okay, about their population growth rate. So we all know that Korea is an aging economy. And it's also reflected here in its population growth rate. And of course, macroeconomic models would suggest that the growth of your economy depends a lot also on the growth of your population, okay? Because population is a huge source of human resources of labor. And as you can see here, our population growth rate in ASEAN, although it has declined since 1994, but the decline isn't as steep as that in Korea. Now, what about standard of living? Okay, so in terms of levels, Korea would have a higher standard of living than ASEAN. But in terms of growth rates, we're actually growing faster than they are. Okay, so again, another reason why did want to come here. Okay. Now, we take a closer look now at individual countries in ASEAN. So how do we compare in terms of land area? Okay, so the largest would be Indonesia, then Myanmar and Thailand. Okay, Korea would be down there, together with Brunei and Singapore. Okay, so and the Philippines would fall somewhere there in the middle. Okay, so that's in terms of land area. In terms of population size, okay, well, Philippines, no surprise there. We're up there together with Indonesia. Brunei and Singapore will be the smallest in terms of population size. This time it's Korea that's in the middle. Now, size of the economy. Okay, Korea of course is large economy. Okay, the closest that would come to it would be Indonesia and then Thailand. Okay, and then Philippines is again somewhere in the middle. But obviously, from what you're seeing here, this should give us a hint that there is, of course, some disparity in economic performance because there are other countries like Myanmar, Cambodia, Brunei, and now PDR that have very small sizes compared to what they're seeing with Korea, Indonesia, and Thailand. And if we look at it in terms of standard of living, as indicated by per capita income, Singapore and Brunei would actually beat Korea in that aspect. Philippines, we're at the bottom half, but then again we see some disparity when we look at Vietnam, Laos, PDR, Myanmar, and Cambodia. Okay. So that's macro. And disparity also would be evident here that this is based on the latest data. Okay, so in terms of share in land area versus our share in real GDP, our share in economic activity or income. Okay, there are countries that, like Singapore for instance, small in terms of land area but highly productive. So we can see that they have a proportionately larger share in terms of income than what they have in terms of physical resources, in terms of land. Okay. And then next, please, share in population size versus share in real GDP. And again, disparity should be evident here. Singapore would have a very large share in real GDP, but its share in population is just small. No? Same goes with Malaysia and Thailand. Okay. So there are hints, of course, that as of the latest observation, as of the latest data, there is a hint of disparity still in economic performance. Okay, so now we take a look at development data. Okay, so it's not just about economic activity, not just about income, but more holistically, if we take a look at economic development, which is of course broader in scope. Now, as we can see here, the latest that I could gather was from 2017, Human Development Index. So the HDI is an index that combines not just income but also health and education. Okay, Singapore is the only ASEAN country that could beat Korea. Well, the rest would fall quite behind the Brunei, Malaysia, Philippines were there in the middle. Okay, but again, those countries, the BCLMD countries, Vietnam, Laos, PDR, Cambodia, and Myanmar. Okay. There's also disparity here. Almost half of ASEAN countries would fall in the medium category, and only few would be with Korea in the very high human development category. And this is something new, Global Competitiveness Index. So when we speak of competitiveness, it is defined as the set of institutions, policies, and factors that determine level of productivity. So there is a Global Competitiveness Report which spells out the components for this index. So, and we have a ranking out of 140 economies. Singapore is up there, number 2. Okay, followed by Korea. Okay, and again, Singapore is the only country that could beat Korea in terms of competitiveness. While again, we're sadly there, number 56. Cambodia and Laos are again the laggards in this department. And then the next thing that we can see here is something interesting. Food security. If we go to the next slide, please. Because food security in its dimensions, affordability, availability, quality, safety, natural resources and resilience. Okay, so again, it's Singapore that ranks better than Korea, okay, followed by Thailand, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam. We're somewhere again there in the middle. Now PDR and Cambodia. There's no data for Brunei. But I added the last column because it's interesting and it's something that I found fascinating when I did my dissertation on Philippines, Korea. Okay? Korea, Singapore, these aren't, actually food producing countries. They look at the arable land per person. Very small, and yet they're the most food secure. So that tells us something about how they use resources. It's not food security is something more important, much broader. But here we are in the Philippines arguing about rice self-sufficiency. Okay, so there must be something wrong with what they're focusing on in terms of policy. But that's something that is quite interesting. Okay, those who aren't really naturally endowed to produce their own food are actually doing far better than us. Next please. Now, here comes the trade integration part, because I've already showed you that, it's obvious that there is disparity in terms of economic performance and also in terms of development indicators. But what about trade integration? Okay? So, I gathered selected indicators from the Asia Regional Integration Center of ADB. Okay, so we have export intensity, export share, import share, intra-regional trade intensity, and intra-regional trade share, which I will, of course, describe in turn. Okay. So export intensity. Okay, so it's defined as the ratio of a trading partner's share to a country's country or region's total exports, and it's weighted against the share of world exports going to the same trading partner. So, for instance, ASEAN to ASEAN versus world to ASEAN in terms of exports. So the way to interpret this, which I highlighted in bold red, is this. So if you have an index of more than 1, it indicates that trade flow between countries or regions is larger than expected given their importance in world trade. So it's more, a higher value means more export intensity, as the term connotes. And this is what it looks like. We're actually more heavily involved in intra-regional, in trade within ASEAN. So ASEAN to ASEAN, it's still, again, we're a $1 trillion economy. We're still largely trading with ourselves. And Korea, not really that much in terms of weight if we compare it with trade within the region. Okay? And it's really quite flat if you look at it. And so there's, again, room for us to do something about it, maybe room for more improvement here. Now, in terms of export intensity index by country, it's actually Thailand that deals more with Korea and Brunei. Okay, but the rest aren't really that into Korea that much. We're still, again, as the blue bars show, we're still more into intra-regional trade within ASEAN. Next slide, please. Now, how about exports? So, if you look at export share, you have the definition here. No longer going to read it because it's long. But the interpretation again, a higher share indicates a higher degree of integration. So, this is what it looks like historically if we compare ASEAN to ASEAN versus ASEAN to Korea. Okay? So, again, ASEAN to ASEAN is still largely ASEAN is still weightier versus ASEAN in South Korea. So we still trade heavily, export heavily within the region, and not so much in South Korea compared to that. And then again, this is what it looks like. Brunei and Thailand would be the ones that trade heavily. Okay. Vietnam is the most heavily involved in exports with ASEAN. Now, import share, just like export share, higher share indicates a higher degree of integration in terms of imports. And this is what it looks like. Okay. Again, ASEAN and ASEAN is still quite heavy. Okay? And ASEAN and South Korea, erratic. And not as big as trade activity is within the region. Alright. Import share, it's actually Thailand that tends to import more from Korea. Okay, and Vietnam and Cambodia are actually more dependent on intra-regional trade. Now, this is intra-regional trade intensity. So if you add imports and exports together, so this is total trade activity. What can we see here? So again, an index of more than one would indicate trade flow within the region that is larger than expected. Given the importance of the region in world trade, this is what it looks like. Okay? So ASEAN and ASEAN, it's still very much, should I say insular or what, but we're still very much largely involved in ASEAN to ASEAN. More than ASEAN and South Korea, definitely. Okay. And it's Thailand that trades heavily with South Korea more than it does with ASEAN. Okay? But you cannot really say the same for the other countries. Okay. Now, intra-regional trade share, okay, something that you can derive from that also. So a higher share indicates a higher degree of dependency on regional trade. And this is what we see. Okay? Yes, we're still highly dependent. Okay. And this is what it looks like. Again, Thailand is the largest trading partner of South Korea as of the latest observation. The other countries aren't really much into it. Okay. Now, what do we see if we take a look at trade balance this time? So we're actually seeing that most of our countries, in terms of intra-regional trade, Singapore, Thailand, and Brunei are the only net exporters, while the rest are net importers. Surprise. No surprise, actually. Philippines is, as of the last observation, has the largest trade deficit in the region. And if you look at our trade with Korea, we're actually a net importer from Korea. Okay? And we're still also at deficit with Korea, so the latest observation. And in Singapore, that actually enjoys the largest surplus with Korea. Alright, and then this is us versus the world. Okay? So as a region, ASEAN is actually a net importing country vis-a-vis the world. And it's Singapore that actually has the largest trade surplus. And guess who has the largest trade deficit? Haha, okay. Philippines is right down there, together with Vietnam. Alright, so I think this is something interesting. I found interesting because this is inter-regional trade versus disparity as measured by the standard deviation of the GDP per capita. Okay? So if it's less dispersed, we should have a lower standard deviation. But as you can see here, standard deviation of the dispersal seems to have gone up over time. But inter-regional trade intensity, if you look at it over time, it has gone down. So much talk about ASEAN economic community, but this is what's actually happening. We're not doing what we're saying. And what this suggests, although I would like to be careful to mention anything about causality, maybe there's some correlation here or what. The less we have integrated, the more our disparities have gotten worse. That's an interesting reading. But as far as, next slide please, our relationship with Korea is concerned, there's not really a clear trend here because of, again, as I mentioned, it's erratic. You cannot really say anything about our relationship with Korea here. Okay, now I turn to some points of reflection. Okay, just to summarize the review of data. Where are we now? Okay, so socioeconomic disparities among the ASEAN states are still evident. Okay, we say one thing, but we're not quite doing what we're saying. Okay, we want greater integration. The ASEAN Economic Community culminated in December 31, 2015, but why are we seeing that trend? So trade integration has apparently declined based on those calculations, while disparity in per capita income has increased. So again, I'm careful not to mention anything about causation here. There could well be a correlation, something else might explain this, but it's interesting to see why this is happening. And trade with South Korea has been erratic. Cannot really say how it would affect us, but presumably there could be a positive effect, but we haven't really seen that yet based on historical performance. Okay, where do we want to go? We don't lack vision here, but we're actually well articulated when it comes to our vision. We have bridging the development gap. That's something that we speak about, but we have RIA, and featured in this RIA is integration, which presumably could help lessen these disparities. But next slide, please. Yeah, that's what we want. We have a clear vision of a stable, prosperous, and highly competitive ASEAN economic region. Okay? But we're still quite far from this, to answer the question of how much work still needs to be done. Next, please. And here we have these pillars for the ASEAN economic community: single market and production base, competitive economic region, equitable economic development, fully integrated region in the global economy. But the performance, the indicators do not seem to reflect this. Not yet. So, AEC, I mentioned it, it's the realization of the region's end goal of economic integration. And again, it has a nice vision, but we're still a long way from achieving it, I think. And yeah, I think I've already made my point here. Now, my colleague Dr. Shell Habiton mentions this, that what are the features of trade in ASEAN? Okay, so it's going to be largely intra-industry in nature. So we're still largely into inter-regional trade. But now it's not really going to be competitive but complementary. There are what they call global production networks or value chains that you don't have to produce one thing in one country. You can spread out across different countries those value chain, those stages in the value chain, which of course would have a potential for lifting a tide that lifts all boats, as so to speak. Next, please. But of course there are advantages and drawbacks. Okay, so the advantages would include economies of scale, technology sharing, higher productivity, and stronger interdependence. But the drawbacks, if you spread out their value chains, okay, there could be vulnerability to disruptions, and it could also possibly lead to inequitable growth. Okay. Now, how do we get there? And this is my last slide. So, South Korea would probably serve as a trade catalyst. So instead of ASEAN economies vying for trade with South Korea, perhaps South Korea would behave, or act as the catalyst, which again would push countries within ASEAN to trade further with themselves. Okay? And it has that potential because South Korea is a highly industrialized country, and much of the things that we trade within ASEAN are actually industrial products. And we can take advantage of those global value chains because of South Korea's presence. So instead of Korea attracting competition among countries, vying for its attention, okay, it could well act as a catalyst so that ASEAN countries could more heavily trade themselves. But of course, we have our own issues. Okay? So perhaps we should also address as a country our own issues first before we discuss disparities among ASEAN countries. So we have sectoral and geographical imbalances. And this thing, regionalism, or in Filipino, kanya-kanya, individualism, which prevents us from, again, embracing that ASEAN identity. We're not really identified solidly as ASEAN. Okay? And bad policies have also gotten in the way of us addressing our own internal policies, something that I like to briefly show. And thirdly, I just want to bring it out there. What could be the role of Mindanao? Mindanao could potentially be a food basket. And it is close to 3 large economies, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Brunei. And there is a very large halal market. Okay. Right at our doorstep again. So what are we doing there? So I think, again, we need to prioritize that. So just to show you what issues we need to address internally. Number one, in terms of expenditure, we're still largely consumption driven. We have to shift structurally to more investments. And this is what we've been trying to do. What's threatening our consumption is the souring of inflows. Remittances slowing down, PPO revenues being threatened by artificial intelligence and the trade war. So where are we going to get that? We have to drive it more internally. Okay? And yeah, same message here. If you look at it in shares, in terms of growth rates, contribution in terms of growth rates, it's still, again, largely consumption, which is fragile. This is what it looks like from an expenditure approach. From a supply side approach this time, and this is something interesting also, this is what we look like. Agriculture noticeably has been flat. When we have been services sector dominant, industry is inching up, but we need to accelerate it to have more inclusive growth. This is what it looks like in terms of shares. And it's funny when people say that the Philippines is still an agricultural economy. I don't think so, because it contributes less than 10% of output. But sad thing is, 1 out of every 3 working Filipinos is in agriculture. So there's a huge disparity there. And this is what it looks like in terms of growth rates. Again, agriculture is a laggard. Okay. And there's this interesting analogy given by my colleague. Are we set to grow at 7 to 8%? He says no. Because we are not yet built for it. The infrastructure is not yet there. We're a 1,300 engine. And if you try to make a 1,300 engine run like a 2,500 engine, you're going to overheat your economy. We're still not there yet, but our economic growth story is robust, is intact. We actually need to have more investments. And that is probably where we could benefit also from Korea. Next slide, please. And this is something interesting also because this pertains to our key economic balances. Trade deficits are usually related to deficits in government spending and private spending. Savings and investments gap is private spending, deals with private savings, while government deficit, that's public, and then we have foreign. And they're all negative. So when one sector overspends, someone has to foot the bill. Okay? So when public sector overspends, as is usually the case, it usually borrows from the private sector. But guess what? Even this private sector is a deficit. And we are at trade deficit. So where are we getting the resources? Okay. I don't know, but we've been quite chummy with China lately. So again, we have to be careful also because are these resources being used to grow our economy equitably? So this is again something that we have to address. And then, next, this pertains to our human resources. As you can see, population pyramid, 1960. next is 1989, next is 2017. We have an impending demographic dividend, but what is threatening this, next slide is, and of course, dependency ratios, which would support that notion of a demographic dividend. But what threatens it is this. Again, tied with our neglect in the agricultural sector. We have a food basket in Mindanao, which could well be our gateway to Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, and other big economies here in the ASEAN region. And agriculture is tied to this, hunger and malnutrition, which threatens our demographic dividend, which could well be a demographic type up. And this is stunting, which of course would have lifelong implications on human productivity. And again, I mentioned bad policies. Our largest exports to Korea are bananas and pineapples. I got that from my dissertation, but look at how much land we allocate. And here we are still obsessed with rice. And how much productivity does rice give you? So isn't it a wonder why our farmers remain poor? Bad policies really. So I think we have to address disparities first, fix our home, and then perhaps we could deal with regional disparities later on. Next slide. So that's it. So thank you for your time, and I hope that was informative for everyone.